So me and Carlos, my friend, we are just 2 kilometers away from one of the most interesting villages in Navarra, and the place where the Agotes, a very mysterious ethnic group, used to live. Bastan?
That's the name of the river, which also gives a name to the whole area. This is called Bastan. And we are entering Bolsate, which was the old ghetto for Agotes, you could say.
And in general, the region is just really beautiful. Like, it is something unexpected. So when you personally explored about the Agotes?
Well, it's always something you hear about them. You always hear that there's like some kind of separate people, not the people you like to be with, but you never know why. You know what happened to, why is that? What happened to these people? Why are they so discriminated? So it turns out that today we still don't know where they came from. We still don't know we have no clues about the full story, about the real story. What we know, and that's a fact, is that they were certainly discriminated and even put into ghettos like this one. Of course, it's not happening anymore. I mean, all that is being lost, unless for a few old people who will still say that the Agotes it's a bad race. That's the formula they use, a bad race. But for the rest of the society, for people my age, I mean, it's just folklore, you know. It's a story you've heard about, and that's it.
Anyway, very interesting experience, as the people of the village just called the police on us, probably telling them that there are 2 guys strolling around, and as they don't feel comfort with the history of the village, and they don't feel comfort with people talking about the Agotes, I assume that they just try to annoy us. But this place is just amazingly beautiful. Something very interesting that we learned today is that because the Agotes did not have the animals in their houses and they didn't have the land, they had no smell of animals, and the people from the other places, they saw them as less valuable and even kind of, you know, in a way different, maybe have some diseases, because as the smell was stronger, you were more wealthy, you were more important. And this is pretty much the opposite from today. You know, if you have a very bad smell or animal smell, you wouldn't walk in the street as comfort as, you know, someone who have no animals in the salon. Basically, they were carpenters and the people that did most of the complex work, because they didn't have land, they didn't have anything, and they had to survive somehow. And here you can see the entrance to what was kind of a ghetto. Carlos, anything you want to say as a local?
This is probably the only village in the Basque Country which doesn't have a bar. I mean, and that speaks volumes about the place. There's no bars here, there are no shops, and there's not even a church. And that means that, as you said, this was very much a ghetto back in the times. Not today, obviously. Well, you can see the in the back, Arizkun, I don't know if we can see it from here. That was the village of the landowners, whereas this was just, yeah, exactly, was that a ghetto for these people of unknown origin.
And what about the stone here? Because those are not typical for here.
This is probably owned by people who are not local and who just build a house there, and they just put the Coto farms of the family there in the house. So no, like real Agotes would never have a coat of arms at home. Over there we can see what you were saying before, how they were building the houses next to each other. We would have like 3 houses there, which is very rare here, in a place where every family would have their own house with no physical contact whatsoever with the neighbor's house. So the fact that you have attached house one next to each other means that this is something very, very rare here, and particular to Agotes.
So we are going now to the to Arizkun. Also, we'll have a little visit to the church just to see how it was back then, and there's also a very interesting story in the church. So. Closed. Of course, do you think is this the door that they had? No.
So he said that there used to be a separate entrance here,
But they.
for the Agotes, just a short one, so they would bow.
Yeah.
So in 1954 there was this priest coming here he was sent to this church, and the priest at some point was horrified by the discrimination of the Agotes. That was 70 years ago. So that was fixed. Apparently the entrance disappeared. We don't know where the entrance is. This is the main entrance. So from 1954 onwards, the Agotes would take the same entrance to the church as the non-Agotes.
Yeah, I mean, look, maybe here or something. No.
Many of the explorers and the people who committed awful crimes in America with the Spanish crown 500 years ago were from this valley.
From this valley.
They made a lot of money, and some of that money was invested in churches, of course. We call them here Indianos.
Indianos.
Indianos, which meaning people who made their money in the West Indies, in the Indies, you know. So yeah, you can find examples like this one, where you can see they were very well off.
So
if you have done a lot of harm, if you have killed a lot of people and have stolen a lot of land outside, then you come back, you give all this money to the church, and all your sins are forgiven. There was actually that chance. It was called simonia, what we call them in the Catholic world, simonia. So basically you pay for your sins to be forgiven. That's how hypocrites they were. They would say that they were taking Christianity to the rest of the world, you know, Christianizing barbarians and pagans, and
it's crazy. So as we have a look on this church from outside, the church is closed, but yeah, this was an awful time for the Agotes. They could not actually sit in the church. They had a different place for the water. They could not be a full part of the myth, and actually for a very long time they was not accepted to Christianity for some reason. Even the Christianity, especially here in this region where the Spanish and the Portuguese, you know, they just forced people by killing them and torturing them to become Catholics. These people still was not accepted to the church. As you can see here, and as Karlos says, the houses could not touch each other. Just literally have one wall for one house, and the second houses were bigger, nicer rooftops. One very interesting point is that you can see that they had a place for the animals on the bottom and the house on the top. Yeah, very crazy story actually. And still, as one of the guys we met here says, there is a need of at least one more generation to pass to overcome this story. People still don't feel very comfortable, and he gave as example this village area where they used to kill witches, and now it's became very, very profitable, very touristic point. So Carlos, how was the day so far?
It was great, man. We were super lucky with the weather, and we were lucky with the roads too. I was expecting like these massive queues because people are going back home after the summer vacation, but it was all very, very smooth, and yes, great, man. Great having you back in the Basque Country, Gilad.
Hopefully not the last time.
Of course.
And for now, goodbye. How you say goodbye in Basque?
Aur.
Aur. Aur.
This is the slaughterhouse. If you're local, you're paying €5 for each animal. If you're not local, you're paying 10.